The past few months, I've been reviewing tons of adjustable dumbbells. I recently published a video comparing 7 different adjustable dumbbells. Without fail, people in the comments are requesting and talking about, what about Ironmasters? Ironmasters are really good. You forgot the best ones, Ironmasters. So that's why today I'm putting the Ironmasters to the test, and I'm going to see if Ironmasters are still a viable choice for your adjustable dumbbell in your home gym in 2026. Ironmasters use a spin lock style dumbbell, which has been around. They developed it in the early 2000s. Ironmasters themselves has been around since the late 70s. They previously used a design that's very familiar to a lot of you today, which is the Eisenlink design. Ironmaster ditched that and went to their new spin lock style in the early 2000s, and that's what they've been using ever since then. There hasn't been a lot of changes to that. It's a tried and true system that has almost a cult following. I'll be breaking them down and scoring them out of 10 across these 5 different metrics. Number 1 is going to be speed. How quickly and how do they adjust? Number 2 is going to be handle, feel, and quality. Number 3 is going to be durability. They're going to excel there. 4 is going to be training experience. What's the overall experience as you're training with these? And number 5 is going to be value. How do these hold up? Is it worth the investment you're putting into buying these? Before we dive into today's video, what's up everyone? My name's Dylan. This is Plates and Profits, where I help you build your home gym for less. I've got a bunch of exciting content that's going to be coming out. I'm going to be doing in-depth breakdowns on also the rep quick draws and MX Select 55s. I've also got some really exciting Alibaba orders that are in the works that are going to be arriving soon that I'm really stoked about. I can't wait to show y'all. Let's go ahead and dive into today's Ironmaster review. In the first category, we are going to do a speed test. Let's see how fast these adjust. And this is almost the elephant in the room. Ironmasters are not the fastest dumbbells. If that is at the top of your priority list, these are not going to be the dumbbells for you, but we're going to be adjusting them down from 45 to 20 pounds. I did this test in my comparison video with 6 adjustable dumbbells, and those results ranged from 3 seconds for the Nuabell twist style handle, all the way up to 21 seconds, which was the slowest for power blocks. And let's just see what these clock in at. All right, speed test with the Ironmasters going from 45 to 20. Someone on Reddit made this little cheat sheet. Let's go ahead and do it. 2 and 1. And voila! Super fast. Now we got these ready to go. Just for comparison's sake, I'm going to see if I can adjust the rep times Pepin, these cap dumbbells, rep quick draws, MX Select 55s, and a pair of Alibabas from 45 down to 20. All of these in under the amount of time it took to adjust the Ironmasters. Let's see if we can do it. Alibaba ones, and these are in kilograms, so we got to go quite a few here, but we're going down to 9 kilograms, and voila. So all in all, it took me about 50 seconds to adjust these Ironmaster dumbbells. And I kind of mentioned it, the more you do that, the quicker you will get at it. I've used these for about 2 weeks, so I'm not extremely proficient at it. So I bet you could cut that down to 30 seconds or less. But the fact that I adjusted nearly 5 adjustable dumbbells in the time it took me to adjust the 1 set of Ironmasters isn't great. So for our first category, speed, I'm gonna give these a 5 out of 10. And I know that sounds harsh, but that's just the reality of the situation. They are not as fast as just about any other option on the market unless you are getting old school vintage spin lock adjustable dumbbells. This is really where they lag behind, and this is one of the only times where I'll be giving a low score. The spin lock itself is a pretty clever system, and it's also going to have quite a bit of advantages that we're going to touch on in the later categories. And let's go ahead and dive into our number 2 category, the handle feel, the overall quality of that knurl in general. First, let's bring up my knurl scale, and these are going to fall right in between 1.5 and 2 out of 5 on the knurl scale. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I would definitely describe this as more passive. The knurl is there for you emotionally. However, as far as grip-wise, it's really not adding too much. It doesn't have a lot of bite to it. And I've got to be honest, these are kind of what I would consider the lifter's adjustable dumbbell, the power lifter, the strongman, the person who's really wanting to lift heavy. And I think if you polled the people who use the Ironmaster dumbbells, I think every one of them would say they'd want a little bit of a more aggressive knurl, a little more bite to it. The other thing to take into account with these is it is a pretty lengthy dumbbell handle. It is 7 inches in length, and if you compare that to the 5 inches of the Rep times Pepin, it is substantially longer. Now for some people, they really prefer that. They like almost being able to manipulate their grip on certain exercises to have it feel a little different. Me personally, I like just having one spot to grip. I don't like having to pick and choose between going, higher or lower. That's all personal preference, but for me, it's a tad long. I will note that Ironmaster has a heavy handle kit that would definitely help with this. And if I were keeping these long term, that's something I would add on. The heavy handle kit increases the handle weight to 20 pounds. It screws on and it makes it a much more narrow handle, which I would like, but I would also add the caveat that I don't love the idea of always having to start at 20 pounds. I wish I was that strong, just where, 20 and under, like what's that? I don't need that. But there's quite a few movements where I do like going a little lighter on, and I would hate sacrificing that, and then you're having to unscrew these heavy handle kits to make it worth it. Overall though, I will always choose a knurled handle over a rubber handle. I do like it when companies have that option. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10 on the score. It's not bad, but I just think there's some minor tweaks they could make that would really help with the handle. And category number 3, and where these truly shine, is the durability category. I've been mentioning that these have been around since the brand itself, 1978. Early 2000s is when they adopted this spin lock style. And these come with a lifetime warranty and they stand by that. If I were to do a drop test here, I would be more concerned about the concrete than the dumbbells themselves. I think you could throw these out of a moving car and they'd be fine. One thing I would note on durability, as I do think it should be mentioned, is the plates themselves. The coating that they have isn't the most durable and is very prone to rusting. I've picked these up before where the plates have quite a bit of rust that has developed on the coating that they use. I've seen some people who repaint these and then paint the Ironmaster letters and it looks chef's kiss, beautiful. But that's just one thing I would note about the durability is the coating isn't the best. However, the rest of the dumbbell, really simple spin lock mechanisms. I've never had issues with these. I've had a few pairs of these and never had issues with them. I'm gonna give this a 9.5 out of 10 just because of the coating issue that I mentioned. Now we're gonna get into the training experience. And again, I think this is where these really shine. One thing I'd note right off the bat is they look like a traditional dumbbell. They look like you could see these in a gym and you wouldn't be like, is that a piece of gym equipment? Because some adjustable dumbbells, you're not quite too sure, like power blocks. People call those toasters a lot. You're just not quite sure when you see that. It's like, what is that? Is that a kitchen appliance? Ironmasters have this old school feel to them. Something about them gives me a vintage vibe, almost like when you bought them, did it come with like a VHS tape of exercises that you could do with it? Which I personally like. I like that rugged vibe, minimalistic. It's all business, I would say. And then as far as exercising goes, besides looking and feeling like a regular dumbbell, it also performs like a regular dumbbell. There's not a lot of noise when you're performing movements, and if you followed my channel, you know that's one of my biggest gripes with the Rep times Pepin is just the amount of noise between sets. So that's a welcome change with these Ironmasters. Not a lot of noise, feels like a dumbbell. With that spin lock, one of the biggest things with old school spin lock collars is you literally have like a, not a knife, but like a dagger on the end. So if you're doing a heavy press with the old spin locks, you just almost got to bail because if you push that up against your quads, that's going to hurt. These spin lock collars are flat and round, easy to do when you're pressing heavy movements. For shoulder press, swinging it up overhead works really well. The other thing with these is they're very compact in size. It's pretty awesome how small the diameter is, right there with the Rep times Pepin, which I consider the gold standard as far as diameter size and just overall size of the dumbbell. Ironmasters are right up there with them. So it's really just getting to the weight you want. With the lack of speed and adjustments, that's the biggest gripe with the functionality. That does play into the overall training experience, but other than that, once you're at the weight you need, it's pretty awesome. Feels really good. I'm gonna give these a 9 out of 10 on the training experience. Would recommend to a friend. And our last category, the fifth, is going to be the value of these dumbbells. And let's look at this from a few different angles. This is going to be value, investment, and I think these are a great value. You could start with their 45-pound set and work your way up all the way to 160 pounds. I love that it's an upgradable set. So wherever you are in your fitness journey, they have a set for you. Mentioned earlier, but they come with a lifetime warranty, which I think as far as value goes, you don't have to worry about things breaking, and the durability factor, you probably wouldn't have to worry anyways. But nice having that peace of mind. I will say, if you got everything, all the expandable upgrade kits, heavy handle kit, all the way up to 160, you'd be looking at around $1,600, which is a lot of money. But if you're comparing that to buying fixed sets of dumbbells, it's not even a contest. It's a great option. From a resale standpoint, these are always going to sell pretty quickly. When you're buying something that's basically indestructible secondhand, it really gives you that peace of mind that you don't have to be worried about that. I can say from firsthand experience, these do not pop up a lot on Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp or Craigslist. And I think the reason why is the person who buys this typically knows this is what they want and they enjoy it. They are really good, and I don't think you're going to regret it. From a value standpoint, I am going to give these a 10 out of 10. It's quite a bit of bang for your buck. They're indestructible, lifetime warranty. It is not a bad investment. Now show this to your wife and tell her, hey, this guy on YouTube said it was a good investment. I'm gonna go spend the $1,700. So our final scorecard for the Ironmaster Adjustable Dumbbells is 40.5 out of 50. The biggest demerit for them was that speed test. And that kind of brings us into the question, who are these dumbbells for and who are they not for? Let's start with who they're not for. If you're someone who does a lot of supersets and really likes fast changing dumbbells, these are not going to be the ones for you. If you value durability still, then go with the Rep times Pepin. They're so much faster and just as durable, or you could go with the Power Blocks, also extremely durable. As far as who these dumbbells are for, kind of mentioned it earlier, I feel like for powerlifters rest like 10 minutes between sets anyways. It's okay, I powerlifted for a period of time and I was right there with you sitting and eating like Sour Patch Kids between sets. It's okay, I'm not meaning that as an insult, but it's, you take 3 minutes to adjust them and that's okay. You still got 7 more before your next set. Ultra strongman though, I feel like this is the dumbbell for you. You can get up to 160 pounds on it. If you just want a no nonsense dumbbell, it's gonna look like a dumbbell, it's gonna feel like a dumbbell, it's gonna perform like a regular dumbbell, I feel like these are for you. My personal experience, it's so interesting because the gym is inherently an activity that's not lazy. You're in the gym, you're working hard. But when I owned Power Blocks, I found myself steering away from certain exercises because I'm like, oh, I'd have to adjust these weights. And like, it's 50 seconds and you're in the gym making yourself better. But for some reason, I talked myself out of it. And I know that's me being lazy, but that's how I felt with them. I ended up selling the Ironmasters and I got a set of Nuobells for a while. I've changed dumbbells so many times that I've tested them all. And again, this all comes down to personal preference and what are you actually going to use and enjoy the most. Those are ultimately the dumbbells that you should buy. If you want, I reviewed 6 other adjustable dumbbells. Actually, I think it was 7. But go ahead, watch that video if you think maybe Ironmasters are not for you. There are so many great options in the home gym space for us right now that you really can't go wrong. But there we have it. That's kind of my review of Ironmaster dumbbells. Really rock solid dumbbell. I would never fault someone for getting Ironmasters. I think they are an excellent choice. They just aren't meeting what I want in my adjustable dumbbells, but they are still a fantastic dumbbell. Go ahead, let me know in the comments. Is the adjustment speed taking, close to a minute per adjustment, is that a deal breaker for you? Or is that no biggie and you think these look like the dumbbells that you want? Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. I'm gonna be doing a few other reviews on the Rep Quick Draws, MX Selects. And then like I said, I've got some fun surprises with some Alibaba orders that I'm really stoked about. If you guys enjoyed the video, I'd love it if you gave me a thumbs up. I don't actually know what the thumbs up do, but it's supposed to help, so feel free to drop one and then subscribe if you haven't. Excited for all the content that's to come. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.